Ted Cruz released an ad against his new Democratic opponent in the next election, Beto O'Rourke. And this ad is beyond terrible.
If you're gonna run in Texas, you can't be a liberal man, 'cause liberal thought is not the spirit of a Lone Star man. You gotta be tough as Texas and honest about your plans. If you're gonna run in Texas, you can't be a liberal man. I remember reading stories, liberal Robert wanted to fit in, so he changed his name to Beto and hit it with a grin. Beto wants those open borders and wants to take our guns. Not a chance on earth he'll get a vote from millions of Texans. If you're gonna run in Texas, you can't be a liberal man.
I'm Ted Cruz, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ted Cruz for Senate.
You know, I'm not the kind of guy who gets offended by anything, really. I have thick skin, but I'm pretty offended listening to that. And I'm offended because it's just so condescending and pedantic and insulting towards voters in Texas. You could almost see Ted Cruz sitting in a conference room with the fellow members of his inner circle. And they talk about how, all right, how can we appeal to these rubes in Texas to try to make them think that I'm cool and I'm on their side and I'm a cowboy and I'm a Texas man? And they go, I know, Ted, let's do like a goofy country song ad. That'll make all those idiots wearing cowboy hats in Texas start cheering and applauding you. And that is fucking, like I said, it's insulting, it's pedantic, it's condescending. It's basically saying that, people in Texas, they can't deal with the serious issues and policy substance. So let's do a goofy ad where we play a country song, and they like country music, so they'll be like, oh, I agree with Ted Cruz because he likes country music too. Oh, that's so gross. Oh, that's the grossest fucking thing I've ever seen, and that is one of the worst songs I've ever heard in my life. So in the song, he makes fun of Beto O'Rourke because he changed his name to Beto. I think his name was Robert, but he changed his name to Beto. And Ted Cruz is arguing he tried to make it sound more ethnic to appeal to minority voters. And what's hilarious about Ted Cruz saying that is that's nothing but projection from Ted Cruz, because Ted Cruz's name is Raphael. He changed his name to Ted. Why did he change his name to Ted? To try to garner support of the majority in America. So, and he even went on CNN, and Chris Cuomo, of all people, was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, if we all know you changed your name, so you're going after him for the same shit that you did, so maybe don't make this a fucking campaign issue. But it's like, again, with guys like Ted Cruz, guys like Donald Trump, and Hillary Clinton too, like, it's like they don't realize that hypocrisy is a thing, and they don't realize that, hey, if you're doing the shit that you're accusing the other people of doing, then you shouldn't attack that person for that shit, because then you're a ridiculous human being who's incapable of thinking in an objective way. So it's just sad, man. It's just fucking sad. What a ridiculous attack to make. And the only policy points he brought up, he said that Beto O'Rourke wants to take your guns. That's not true. And he said Beto O'Rourke wants open borders. That's not true. So perhaps if your whole strategy is to straw man your opponent and lie about your opponent's position, perhaps you don't have an argument and you can't win in an actual debate and discussion where you go into the details of the ideas and the policies. Perhaps you can't win that. So your answer is, I'll just straw man him. And it's the caricature of the person on the left. Like, oh, they want to take your guns. The percentage of people in America who agree with just flat out taking people's guns. I mean, by the way, hilarious, because Donald Trump actually argued that last week. He's like, we just take them. We're going to take them. We'll do due process after, but we're going to take the guns. But still, overall in the country, the percentage of people who want to take the guns, fucking tiny percentage of people. So that's a straw man of most people on the left. It's a straw man to say open borders. Somebody like me, I understand that the millions of people who we have here, the overwhelming majority of them who are immigrants, are just working hard and trying to take care of their families and create a better life and stuff. But even I get that doesn't mean you can't have a border and protection on that border, most people on the left say, yeah, of course, we're not in favor of totally open borders. So it's just a hacky, partisan bullshit argument. And listen, if you're a voter in Texas, I don't know how you can't see that this guy's a fake. I don't know how you can't see that. Ted Cruz is a slimy, weaselly, standard politician. And this is the type of shit that he does. Ted Cruz is a guy who argues, and it's such a disingenuous argument, so you know he's a corrupt asshole. He argues money equals speech. So when he takes all this money from Goldman Sachs, for example, he takes money from Wall Street. His fucking wife worked for Goldman Sachs. When he is in elite and he takes money from Wall Street, he acts like, man, that's free speech. I'm Ted Cruz, me. Do the voters of Texas, even the Republican voters of Texas go, I love it when big banks and globalists control our system? No, they don't fucking like that. So listen, if I was Beto O'Rourke, man, I would fucking go for the jugular on this shit. I would call out Ted Cruz for his corruption. I'd call him a standard politician. I'd call him a liar, a phony, a fake. And I would hammer away on the fact that I'm a populist. If I was Beto O'Rourke, that's what I would make. But Beto needs work on his messaging because he's a little too wonky, a little too nebbish. He's got to find a way to come across as a strong populist, because the only way that a Democrat will win in Texas is if the Democrats are strong populists, and he might be too wonky to do that. But I mean, Ted Cruz is definitely beatable because he's the smarmiest, grossest politician. He's never said a sincere word in his life, and he looks like he's never said a sincere word in his life. So hopefully the good people of Texas will revolt against this, because seriously, that should insult your intelligence if you're a Texas voter. No, Ted, it's not. You don't just have to play fucking country music to get me to vote for you like in a Pavlovian response. Are you fucking kidding me? What a sick joke this is. And stop lying about your opponents. It's really gross.